E la cintura?
Non ce l'ho.
È un grosso rischio. Ricordati sempre di allacciare la cintura di sicurezza e falla allacciare anche a chi sta dietro. Guidare non è uno scherzo. Va bene?
Certainty and passion in President Giorgio Napolitano's words. His talk has left a mark. Rimini and Cairo, a dialogue between the two sides of the Mediterranean, the search for certainty. News from Tripoli arrives at the meeting. Today's report about the Libyan youth's involvement in the revolution. Blessed Newman's great human and religious adventure. Chesterton's words lead us in our daily struggle to uphold the certainty that creation is good.
I expected a more formal talk, but instead there was a nice dialogue.
Un bello scambio.
L'intervento dei due studenti.
I enjoyed the intervention of the two students who asked questions as well as the sincere answers given by the president.
Sinceramente a me è piaciuto.
È stata un'impressione
I was
molto
struck
bella.
by it. He faced political issues in a serious way by expressing his own opinion and asking everybody to share responsibility.
Impressioni e richiamando un po' tutti all'ordine, diciamo.
Secondo lei è un appello che
According to you, will this talk change something?
Certamente le acque.
Of course, things can remain the
tu
same.
eri la hostess di Napolitano.
You were the Napolitano's hostess. Were you moved? Yes, a lot. What impressed you the most?
Mi ha colpito che lui, nonostante...
I was struck by him. Even though he had a very exhausting day, he was really interested in seeing everything. I guess he was struck by the people who welcomed him and were there to greet him throughout the meeting.
Ed era venuta a salutarlo qua in fiera.
C'è subito sintonia.
There was an immediate correspondence between Giorgio Napolitano and the people of the meeting.
Il capo dello Stato.
The head of the state joked with the young voluntary workers.
Poi dal palco lancia una
Then, from the stage, he launches a call to the nation, which many define as an historical talk.
Io credo che sia una grande
I
soddisfazione.
think there is a great satisfaction for all those who have worked in order to make this happen. He delivered a great message, a very strong one, that is signal of hope for the future. On one side, it is important that for the first time the President of the Republic inaugurates the Rimini meeting. However, I think it is above all his presence here at the meeting, seeing everything for himself, that is much more important. In front of the crisis, he offered the possibility of a common work towards a common goal.
It was a message for all of us, this sense of great responsibility. In my opinion, Napolitano yesterday not only said that we need unity for our country, but explained also what are the factors from which we can begin to build such a
Da cui
unity.
partire per trovare la coesione del paese.
Un appello alla nazione che nasce metodologicamente.
It was a call to the nation that methodologically came from his words and from the spirit of the meeting. He proposed a path based on the search for truth. This search for truth, which forces one to be realistic and make one's limits, also causes a growth in the commitment for subsidiarity in practice, as well as the fact that this position opens itself to the world.
Rimini and Cairo. Lately, a religious dialogue seems to grow between those two Mediterranean cities. Today at the meeting, a crowded auditorium listened to and applauded the prestigious speakers of the talk that focused on Egypt, or more specifically on beauty, because it is from beauty that this dialogue was born. Beauty was the theme of the first edition of the Cairo meeting and the topic on which important personalities like Jeremia Armia, General Bishop of the Coptic Orthodox, Usama El Abed of the Al-Azhar University, Usam Mekkawi, President of the Court of South Cairo, and Cardinal Antonius Naguib, Coptic Catholic Patriarch of Alexandria, discussed today. This clearly symbolizes the history that keeps going on through a friendship that grows and a dialogue that never ends.
At the beginning of the movement for change, during the revolution of January the 25th, there was total cooperation between Christians and Muslims. It was a mutual effort towards a common ideal, a common hope for a shared dream. After the first 2 weeks, the radical Islamist forces, opposed to this orientation, began to take action. From that moment on, it had become harder and harder to sustain our cooperation.
What do you think about the experience of the meeting in Cairo? Can it help this situation?
The meeting in Cairo was a surprise. It came to life thanks to a young professor who had been coming to the Rimini meeting for many years and who finally said, "Why don't we do something similar in Cairo?" This was unthinkable, but this experience, so positive and successful, proved that Christians and Muslims can meet together on the basis of shared human, moral and religious principles.
Questa esperienza così positiva e così riuscita
was fighting in this because
the Gaddafi regime appears to be on the verge of collapse. People are fighting in Tripoli, and tonight's feature, titled Stories from the World by Roberto Fontolan and Gian Michalessin, is dedicated specifically to the situation in Libya.
This work documents the drama taking place during the war in Libya,
anche se non tratta della vicenda bellica,
and attempts to show what are the roots of this event.
Di questa storia.
There was a report on Japan yesterday, and the images shown were very moving.
Yes, it is a National Geographic production. They have collected non-professional images taken from mobile phones, security cameras in shops, and from banks. So it was an impressive documentary about what happened. These images really took hold of you.
What allows one to have such a hope and certainty in such critical situation as the tsunami and the revolutions?
I think that the force which gives certainty is the one that comes from people, from the human subject, from the I involved in these situations. Even in front of the biggest tragedy, even in front of a war, the human person is the source of a certainty. He is the subject who lives in that situation, who maybe also is the victim or the one responsible, but in any case, this is the starting point for any action in every circumstance. In this sense, there's a link to the authentic journalism that we try to offer through these documentaries.
Vista assim do alto, mas parece céu no chão.
This is the experience of Ribeira Azul, who lives in Salvador de Bahia in Brazil. There is one of several projects that the Association AVSI carries on, thanks to support from abroad. The project aims to help boys grow up and become men in every part of the world. International support was the main topic of the afternoon. The talk was led by Alberto Piatti, president of AVSI, Stefano Zamagni, president of the Agency of the Third World, and Gabriel Diarra, bishop of Mali. Which is the profound meaning of support from abroad?
Using a slogan, we could say that it is a supernatural friendship in our world. The possibility to give a few resources in order to give hope to children, letting them grow up in their country and become the new protagonists for development.
Zamagni explained that support from abroad offers a material contribution while promoting education, by helping parents raise their own children without forgetting their origins. There is an authentic example of cooperation among people that starts from the value of subsidiarity. There is practical side of friendship.
We are aware that what we do is only a drop in the ocean, but as Mother Teresa said, the ocean is made of many drops, so we have just to be courageous and invest our effort in this generation. The people that are given to us have to always be accompanied in the adventure of life.
During the 80s, Joseph Dabrowski was one of the first who took part in the Polish movement Solidarność and has also been graced with a friendship with the late John Paul II.
Being friends with the Pope is not easy. I had been graced with his friendship and he really strongly supported us during his world pontificate, but even during his years as cardinal in Krakow.
Ma anche prima, quando era cardinale a Cracovia. Così, guardando...
And so taking into account this experience, I can say that he loved us greatly and we wanted to respond to this love.
Rispondere a questo amore.
Negli anni '80 lei ha
During the
partecipato.
80s, you took part in the Catholic movement Solidarność. What gave you the ability to challenge the greater power?
Non è un movimento cattolico, è un
It's not a
movimento
Catholic movement. It is a movement by the Polish people who wanted to regain their freedom in every social aspect: religion, economy, politics.
religiosa, nella libertà economica, nella libertà politica.
After many years, you are back at the meeting. What moves you about it?
Today, I'm coming as a free man to witness and share my experience during that difficult period in Poland.
I work with technology. I build magnets like these. Therefore, I am the person that makes it possible to carry out such experiments.
The achievement of certainty has always been one of the greatest goals of science. This is a topic that raises many issues, and that is the central topic of the exhibit. Atom, indivisible, questions and certainties in science.
Here, we have a prototype of a superconducting magnet. Here we can observe the valuable superconducting cable that enters the magnet. Here it is wrapped, exactly 15 meters long, and creates rolls and powerful magnetic domains.
In the history of the discovering of the atom, did moments of total certainty exist?
Moments of certainty do exist. We call them points of no return. For example, we are sure that the atom is made up of a nucleus and electrons that circle around the nucleus. But this fact is meant to be looked at more closely and understood much greater with a deeper certainty about what it is.
The meeting holds an exhibit on John Henry Newman, who Pope Benedict indicated as a great witness to faith. The exhibit narrates his 3 conversions in 3 rooms. The first one describes his discovery of the consciousness that recognizes the intimate presence of God, Anglicanism. The second room marks his opening up to reality, with his start at Oxford University. The last room, lit by the stained glass windows of a Catholic cathedral, represents the peak of his human path towards a reality where Christ becomes tangible, the Catholic Church. Ian Kerr is the most important scholar of Blessed Newman.
They sing and dance the pizzica and the tarantella. They recite poetry with the help of more than 30 musicians. This is the orchestra of Antonio Sparagna that yesterday night entertained thousands of people during the show titled It's Party Time. Through the music, the orchestra took the audience on a journey through the different traditions present in Italy. They sang songs from Milan, Campania, Sicily and Piemonte in order to celebrate the anniversary of the unity of Italy.
Non si canta soltanto
Not
per il
only do we
piacere.
sing because of the beauty of the music, but also because the act of singing unites us. Because of this fact, tonight there was this beautiful party that we all took part in together.
An exclusive opening for the meeting's series of shows, traditional song, dance and poetry among the enthusiastic Italian people at yesterday night's party. Even if the festive evening has come and gone, we still have many shows to look forward to. 26 meetings, 150 artists, 5 stages, which will animate the evenings at the meeting.
The preparation begins directly after the conclusion of the meeting, just in time to take a short and deserved vacation. And from September we start preparing the meeting of the coming year.
Tonight there will be the debut of The Ballad of the White Horse, a play adapted from Gilbert Keith Chesterton's work, which is directly connected with the topic of this edition of the Rimini meeting. The story is about King Alfred the Great, who lived at the end of the 9th century and fought an epic battle in Ethandune, defeating the Danish invaders who had occupied Great Britain.
I santi d'Inghilterra ci proteggono male. Il re diventa vecchio e questo è sicuro quanto tremendo, ha I capelli bianchi.
Actually, the message is never stop after a victory. Never think that evil is so far away, ready to return. If we want to keep the sanctity of a place, we have to take care of it.
Questo testo dice esattamente
Chesterton's work specifically addresses the issue of certainty. The Virgin Mary appears to the King Alfred and asks, "Will you be able to have hope even when everything seems to destroy it?" The question is, what do we base our hope on? So can our certainty survive in the moment of difficulty?
What is the role of the university in today's society?
It's maybe not very different from what it always was. The university prepares the leaders in thought and action for society, and it's become more important as society becomes more complex. You may have noticed that you may notice that in medieval societies people become adults at the age of 13 or 14 whenever they can do the work that adults do. In modern Western societies, that age has become older and older and older as the preparation to enter society has required more work on the part of. So universities are part of that formation of people for work in society.
And the Catholic University, does it have a special role?
It does have a special role. In one way, it's like other universities in that it prepares people for entry into society. But we hope at Catholic universities that it prepares people for entry into society to perform or to function in society the way to provide the special view and values and understandings that their Catholic faith brings to the organization of society and to the work that they will do.
How do you preserve the Catholic identity without compromising the objectives of the university?
Well, actually, that's easy. It's the objectives of the university are not in any way in conflict with our Catholic identity. On the contrary, I think we can succeed better as a university if we pay attention to our Catholic identity. For example, in the matter of universities do the work that they do through the faculty who instruct the students and do research. So universities compete with one another for the services of faculty members. It's a market like other kinds of markets, and in that market you need a way to attract faculty to your school. Money is one way, but faculty aren't interested above all other things in just money. They're interested in the work that they do and the values that are important to them. So we find that if we're true to our values as a Catholic university, we become more attractive to the very best faculty within that tradition. So I think it serves our purposes to be true to our own religious traditions.
How does the fact that a Catholic university believes in an objective truth, as you mentioned in your encounter before, affect its students and what they get from the university?
Well, I think it has two kinds of effects on students. One has to do with what we think of as their intellectual life, properly speaking. The lesson that our students learn is that the search for truth is not a game that you can play well any way you want. It's one that really matters. It really has a point. There really is a goal that we're all searching for or striving for. I think that helps to guide students in their studies in the right direction. Nobody ever reaches the truth. In a way, it's almost, I don't want to say blasphemous, but in a way asserting that you found the truth is a way of saying something about your relationship with Jesus that is a little presumptuous. We never actually get there until the next life. So one way it helps our students is in guiding the direction of their studies. The other way is something that we often don't think of as connected to the intellectual life of a university, but that at a Catholic university is really central to our mission. The Pope just gave a talk at World Youth Day on Friday to a bunch of young professors, and one of the points that he made is one we make at Catholic University frequently, that the business of a university is not just imparting technical knowledge, it's the formation of students. We care what kind of people our students grow up to be, not just what they know, but the practice of virtue in their own lives. So having a view about the truth for us as human beings is part of the message that we try to impart to our students about the kinds of lives that they should live or learn to live while they're students.
E la cintura?
Non ce l'ho.
È un grosso rischio. Ricordati sempre di allacciare la cintura di sicurezza e falla allacciare anche a chi sta dietro. Guidare non è uno scherzo. Va bene?